What's up everyone, OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today, we've got some interesting information for you guys, so let's go ahead and get right into it. And we're starting off with multiple controversies all hitting Nintendo right around the same time. So recently, I covered how Nintendo sent a cease and desist to cancel the Big House tournament over the use of a netcode mod for Super Smash Bros. Melee on PC, the emulated version of the game. Nintendo partners with the Big House to run that tournament. Nintendo found out that they were going to be using Slippy and the mod and the emulation of the game on PC. Nintendo told them to stop. They said we will not. Therefore, Nintendo then put out a cease and desist to tell them you cannot stream that tournament online. Now, from what I understand, they could have still streamed Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but the Big House people decided to cancel all of it if they weren't going to have Melee. So we had that, which started the movement of the free Melee and everything, where a lot of the Smash content creators and Smash players were like, hey, this is not right. We want to make sure that we have free Melee for people to be able to play in the times of COVID and all of that, which was a big controversy, and people are still talking about it to this day. Then after that, there was the most recent thing that's happened, or the two most recent things, and that is the Splatoon North American Championship tournaments that Nintendo runs on their channel. They were just about to run the event, and there were some people in the Discord and people that were going to be playing in that tournament on Splatoon 2 that were going to use the free Melee hashtag as their name. Nintendo caught wind of that and said, well, we're not going to have this anymore. And they essentially canceled the stream, the live stream at least. They canceled it. I know that they did end up playing. I think some other people ended up organizing the tournament for them and streaming it or something like that. I know Vicious Vish, who's worked with Nintendo before, doing some of the Smash Brothers stuff that they've had on there officially. He actually put out like $1,000 and stuff in order to help out and everything. So they ended up having it, I guess, but it wasn't on Nintendo's official channel. That was canceled. So very unfortunate on that end. And then right around the same time, there is a content creator and a person named Captain Alex who was doing some Etikons, or the Joy-cons, with the legendary content creator Etika, who unfortunately passed away, which I've covered on this channel. Please check it out. Definitely not a topic that I like revisiting, but I think that his story is a very important topic. But essentially, this was to go to charity, right? There's some Joy-cons with the Nintendo Switch branding and the labeling and all of that, and they have kind of like the Etika font and the style and everything like that, right? It's pretty cool. And these charity Joy-cons, right, you can buy them and it's going to go to charity, but unfortunately Captain Alex did not get the license in order to use them, and he did not ask for permission either, and was sent a cease and desist. Now there's some conflicting reports on exactly when this happened, but apparently this was back in September, and he just recently talked about it right now at this point. So it had already been some time since they'd stopped selling. All of these controversies are back to back to back for the most part. It's been a very crazy stretch where there's been a lot of problems between Nintendo and some of the fan stuff that people like to do. I mean, this is a history that we've seen multiple times, dating all the way back for how long now, with ROM sites and stuff like that, or even cease and desist over different types of art and selling t-shirts and things like that, or even like a Pokemon party event that happened that the Pokemon company had to intervene in. So it's something that's happened before, and to be honest, I'm looking at it from both sides. I don't see that there is a right or wrong for everybody out there, and I sympathize with everyone when it comes to one side or the other side. I really do. I'm a huge fan of Super Smash Bros. Melee. I'm a huge fan of competitive Smash Bros. Action, and I don't want to see those guys not be able to have a way to play and compete. At the other time, I see what some other people are saying, hey, well, if you let one of this go, like this charity type of thing, then other people are going to say, okay, well, now I'm going to make unlicensed products for charity. Now I'm going to do it, and it becomes a copycat kind of thing. But it's very difficult, though, and it's a delicate situation because you're talking about Etika here. He's one of my favorite content creators of all time. I think he's the best live streamer of all time, and he's inspired me to do what I can do, to even just be a quarter as good as Etika was streaming. That's something that I find as an accomplishment. You know, Etika showed us so much, so it's a very delicate balance, and I understand from both sides how people feel. What I would like to see going forward in the future is a lot of the leaders on one side of it, right? And I'll talk about something that I discussed on my live stream recently, but a lot of the leaders are coming out and name calling. I see a lot of checkmark coming out and saying things, just being very, very angry about it. And I understand that, but what I would like to see is them kind of come together and put together some type of plan and action in order to see if they can get this reversed. Now, the reason why I say that, because just a few years ago, when it came to YouTubers versus Nintendo, that was like a whole nother thing to where Nintendo wouldn't allow people to use their footage in order to monetize their content on YouTube, and that was a big problem. You had to go through hoops and hurdles just to get stuff done. They introduced like that 70% Nintendo Creator Program, then they ended up dropping that completely when people put together logical discussions and topics when it comes to Nintendo's biggest content creators, why this would be a good idea for them. Yes, it took a number of years, but it still got done. So what I would like to see is from the big leaders in the Super Smash Bros. Community to put together a plan, put together something, not just using hashtags all over the place, because a lot of them do have contacts at Nintendo. Put together something and see what can be done in order to resolve the situation. What I want to see is a resolution to it. So I would love to see some of the leaders in the community kind of get together, put together a plan on why this is a good situation for Nintendo, why this can actually lead to better things, because there's a lot of cool people, right? I mean, obviously Smash has had its issues, but there's a lot of cool people out there, and it's really tough to kind of see the type of vitriol and kind of anger that's out there. But once again, guys, I understand from both sides, and I'm just hoping that there can be some type of resolution to this situation, because it seems like the controversies and this whole stuff is starting to pile up quite a bit. So what are you guys' thoughts on this? Now, if you want an extended discussion, I'll be more than happy to do so. I actually did a live stream recently. You can check it out on the homepage with the OJ Live section. It's right there for you guys. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, we have a very interesting situation that's going on with Cyberpunk 2077 and the reviews of the game. Also with the backlash from some of the fans based off of those reviews and what is going on. And there is a lot of weird stuff, and I want to make sure that I handle this with care here. So there is a big reviewer out there. I actually have watched some of his reviews and thoughts on gaming. His name is Skill Up, and here's what he had to say about Cyberpunk 2077 and his review. Quote, I have finished Cyberpunk, but I will not have a review up today as I could not comply with CD Projekt Red's embargo requirement that prohibited us from using our own recorded gameplay in the review. Instead, we were told to use B-roll, which is basically trailer footage. Reviews should not be vehicles for rolling out more marketing material, so I'll put my review up when I'm able to show you the reality of the game with my own footage. I'm also disappointed that no console review code was provided to any outlet. Console games are often reviewed without their day 1 or even day 0 patches, so Cyberpunk would have not been special in this regard. It's really lame that no reviewer can tell you how the game runs on console on the review embargo. I absolutely love the game, and I think CD Projekt Red did extraordinary work, but it's clearly unfinished at this point, and no review relying on trailer footage alone can properly convey that. So there has been a lot of back and forth with this whole situation that's going on. I want to first touch on what SkillUp had to say, then kind of go into my own thought process on this and what's going on. So yeah, I have to 100% agree. There are times when reviewers aren't allowed to do this. I think there was some situations with The Last of Us where you couldn't show any of the Abby gameplay or anything like that, and there were problems with like what you could use recorded and not. So I get that. This seems to go a bit further than that, and there's no console version that they talked about here in terms of reviewing the game. Everybody reviewed the game on the PC platform, which is probably where it's going to run at its absolute best if you have strong enough hardware, which obviously all these people that are reviewing the game probably have like 3080s, or they have like, you know, the 2070 series. Like, they have good graphics cards, good PCs and everything, so they're able to get the best performance out of the game with the best gameplay and everything like that. So I guess maybe that's what CD Projekt Red was going for. But then to say that they couldn't even use any footage from their own recorded game there, I mean, that seems to be really weird. I have not seen that when it comes to a major game release. And once again, no console version at all. And that might be the most telling, because we all know about the multiple delays of this game due to crunch, right? And if you're looking at this game and you're saying, okay, well, I have an Xbox One, or I have an Xbox One S, or I have a PlayStation 4, a PS4 Pro. Like, I need to know how this runs before I buy the game. Or if you have multiple systems, you want to know which version's better to get. Now you might have to wait based on this, right? Because they're not letting anybody talk about the performance before the game have come out based off of their review embargo and everything. So I guess you still have a little bit of time based on it being like a midnight launch, and if you wait till the next day. But I mean, if you're trying to make your decision and play it as soon as possible, it is a little bit of problem. And this is a highly anticipated game, so it's very unfortunate. Like myself, for example, you know, I'm not on CD Projekt Red's review list or anything like that, and I'm not big on PC gaming, but I do have an Xbox, PlayStation. I have all the different, gens that they've put out when it comes to the 8th generation and 9th generation of Xbox and PlayStation systems, and I want to know where it runs best on console, because that's where I'm going to play it. PS5, Xbox Series X. I mean, is it better on Xbox One? Maybe it even runs better on there. Who knows, right? I want to know how it runs, and nobody can tell me how it's going to run on these platforms. So I guess I'm just going to have to wait till the next day. I'm not going to be playing it right there because I don't want to buy the wrong one, or maybe I'll have to buy multiple ones. I'm not really sure, but not everybody's in my situation. They might only have, one system and they want to know how it runs on that, or wait till they get something else. So it's just a very unfortunate circumstance right now at this point, and I'm hoping that the game runs good enough on console. But there's definitely some weird stuff going on with this. Now, I still feel that the game is going to be amazing. Based on the reviews that I read, it does seem like it's going to be a really good game, so I'm not really worried about if the game is good or complete garbage or anything like that. I think it's going to be a good game, but I think it's also clear that the game is not finished, right? There was definitely some stuff, but there's a huge 45 gigabyte day one patch that's going in that's probably going to fix a lot of the console bugs and a lot of the bugs that some of these reviewers are having. So once again, it's a dynamic situation. It's a bit weird in terms of how they did it. I understand what they're talking about when it comes to CD Projekt Red, but also at the same time, when it comes to some of these reviewers and what they're saying, I'm seeing them getting attacked and everything. It's just like, well, wait a minute, they're playing what's right in front of them, and they want to be able to be truthful with the users and audience out there. There's definitely a give or take here. So I understand, but there is for sure some weird stuff going on. So we'll see once that day one patch hits and how the experience is for everybody else that gets to play the game. So what are you guys' thoughts on these topics here? I'd love to hear them in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Go and give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all the latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.